Alright, so I'm going to make a quick video here about intro skip and how you can get it 100% consistently. But there's a catch, and that's that your opal count is going to be ass. Basically, the gist of it is there's 5 frills attacking this thermal bunyip in front of a wall of fire. That's sort of the first checkpoint of the level. Once you kill those 5 frills that are specifically programmed to only target the thermal bunyip, there'll be a little timer. After that, the 2 characters will say their lines, the wall of fire will disappear. If either Sly or Shazza does not hit their checkpoint before they start saying their lines, they will get stuck behind and they will not progress through the level anymore. The wall of fire will still disappear. If you go far enough and you hit another checkpoint, it'll deload the previous area and load the newest area because it just can't handle having the entire level loaded at once. What would normally happen is a giant wall of fire would appear in the area that got deloaded, causing you to not be able to backtrack. But since the game detects that one of the other 2 characters, Sly or Shazza, is still behind there, it will not load in the wall of fire. It will just deload the area. There'll be nothing there. And that's when you jump out of the map into water and you skid towards a cutscene activation, and you skip about 20 seconds worth of the intro. If done perfectly, it's about 20 seconds skipped. And this has always been a crapshoot because of Sly and Shazza. It's pretty random if they get to their checkpoint or not, but with this new strategy, you will always beat Sly to his checkpoint and be able to get him to turn around. Because you can get the characters to turn around before they hit their checkpoint if you move to a previous part of the area. So what we're going to do, dress like normal, but here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're running away and we keep going. Now we're over here, and no matter how fast Sly goes, he's not going to be able to keep up.
The last of the frills, Possum.
This opal count wouldn't be good enough for any percent, but this is just your proof of concept real quick. This will always work. Sly's stuck there, and now we can do the intros normal. However, this is where the catch comes in. If we were doing Steve percent, 100% or 95%, the opal count requirement out of this area is very tiny. It's very small. So you can do this as much as you want in those categories, and you'll always be fine. I think the amount you need for 100% and 95% is 800 out of that area. Which maybe that'll be difficult. So maybe you won't get that much. But for any percent, I've rerouted the opal route later on so that this new strategy can be usable. But it's still going to be very difficult, and you're going to lose about 5 seconds-ish from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2 when you buy the thermal bunyip. So it's still worth it, but not as good. The minimum opals you can leave this area with in any percent with a new opal route is 1100. And the opals you grab first, when you're going through the tunnel between HQ and Bearmudgee Town, there'll be a line of 4 boxes. Each of them has 5 opals, so there's 20 right there. You won't lose any time for getting those. Once you hop up to the higher part of Bearmudgee Town, where the annoying monkey is, there's a box to the left of him. Hit it, there's a 25 opal bag in it. You'll lose about maybe a quarter to half a second grabbing that. But trust me, every opal counts. If you're trying to do this with 1100 or even 1200 or 1300, you got to grab everything for this to work. And even then, you still got to get lucky at one specific part that I'll get to. And Graveyard, there's a 10 opal bag that's just in your pathway. If you're doing the sewer clip strategy, there's a 10 opal bag that's on your route. Obviously, just grab it. You don't lose any time. In the sewers, 3 of the crocs can be killed while approaching them because you have a long stretch with a croc there, and you can kill it before surpassing where the croc was, so you'll be able to collect its opals without losing any time. There's 3 that you can do that to. Each of them drop 10 opals, so that's a total of 30 opals you can get in the sewers. You could go out of your way to grab more, but I don't think it's worth it in the sewers because you would be wasting a decent amount of time. And it's only 10 opals per croc anyway. The ninjas is the most important part, because now we're going to have to rely on getting good combos during that fight to hit the opal count that we need. So strategies for this: wait until a ninja hops on top of a pole. They'll be up there for about 7-ish seconds. It's about how long they'll stay up there before they jump down. Once you see another ninja approaching, and this is especially easy at the beginning when there's a lot in the level at once. Once you see one approaching, hit the one that's on the pole. Once it lands on the ground, hit it again, and then bite the other ninja. You'll get a ×2 combo automatically that way. But you always want to end these chains with a bite, because if you bite the one first and then try to kill the one on the pole, you'll be too slow and you won't get a combo. So ideally you'll want to try and chain a ×2 combo throughout at least the first half. Once you get to the second half, it's harder to chain combos because there's less ninjas on the field. But you can potentially lose a little bit of time there to try and chain combos. It's nice to get ×3 or even ×4 during these fights as possible. And you can get a lot of opals that way, and that's going to be, you're going to have to rely on that with this new strategy, is really learning how to do this fight and get big combos consistently is going to be very important for this new strategy. Besides that, though, after you complete that fight, you'll be 100% in the clear if you have 3,000, or let's see, if you have 4,500 opals. You'll be totally in the clear after that fight, because you'll get the 500 from explosive cargo, and you'll be at 5,000, and you're good. But if you're less than that, don't worry. There's still more opals you can get. Basically, just hit every box on the road, kill every motorcycle on the road, and even in the stretch when you're walking towards explosive cargo, you can hit some of the boxes in there and not lose too much time. So just grab every opal you can. Once you finish patching, you head back through the tunnel to Baramudji Town. You can get that same row of 4 boxes for another 20. And absolute worst case scenario, right next to Trader Bob's is a little row, a hidden row nestled in between a staircase of 3 boxes, and each one of them has a 25 opal bag. So even if you get to that point, as long as you're only 75 or less off, you can still make the opal count, but you're going to lose like 5 or 6 seconds on the food delivery mission. But yeah, there's my little explanation of the opal route. I'm going to do this skip one more time as like hopefully a proof of concept. I will say it's still possible to mess up intro skip, but this removes the RNG factor. Now at this point it's 100% skill based, as it should be. Now in this case I'm actually going to reset it, because that would have been a free intro skip in that scenario, because Shazza would have gotten stuck for long enough. Which, if you notice stuff like that, you can still hang out and get those opals at the Thermal Bunyip and not have to worry about the opal shenanigans. I only reset that because I want this to be legit. And you see Sly's all the way back there, and that's as fast as he can go. He won't go faster than that.
That's the last of the frills, Possum.
But yeah, that opal count was garbage.
Let's go.
Obviously. Before I go, so now we know we can do this 100% consistently, let's talk about opal collection here, because that's important. By the time you've killed off the enemies here, you'll be at about a 20 times combo. You should be. Pretty close. Maybe a little bit off. Don't aim here, because it's going to throw off your direction, and you want to move as fast as you can to here. Because once you get here, this is where around here is where Sly will turn around before hitting his checkpoint to come back to follow you, because they're programmed to follow you. Now, once you're here, you can start aiming. You'll want to kill the enemies over here, and ideally leave one. And as you're moving back, hit that one from far away so you can keep your ×20 combo as you collect all the opals here. And these opals will spawn in after Sly and Shazza kill the frills in this area. And you need at least 1,100 in any percent. I've done a few tests going and doing an entire chapter 1 route with this new strategy, and if you're below 1100, it's not happening. In fact, 1100 to 1200 is super risky. You have to get extremely lucky on ninjas, and or just play very, very, very well. Either one. But yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this will, now that Intro Skip is cracked, this will add a little bit more competition to this game. We'll see, though. Yeah, that's all I got.